it's sequential art and writing, but they cross all stories. So I just had the conversation with somebody yesterday, like, why do people check those out with the girls with the big knockers and the tiny waists? Like, it's all about that. It's about a lot of things. Superheroes are very, very strong in our culture because they're American characters, and it's westernized comics. But here's some other things, and as you, I'm sure many of you are comic fans or librarians that are collection development for this, so you know this, but here's the ones I really dug this year. Ed Brubaker does sometimes write superheroes like Captain America. He's the one who killed Captain America in the Marvel Universe. And Sean Phillips, and they've done incredible collaborations. In fact, one of the quotes about them recently called them the next Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Like, their partnership is so strong. Sean Phillips is the artist, Ed Brubaker is the writer, and this particular story is called Incognito. And I would call this a superhero noir. Like, I love crime noir, and so I like their style. This graphic novel is a trade paperback, which, if you don't know what that means, it means they take several of the comics, or the floppies, that have been released. They put them together in one trade paperback. This trade paperback cost $12, $12.91. It is a creator-owned series, which is really great for them. They make profits off of it. It's not owned by DC or Marvel, where the artist kind of gets paid but doesn't get the royalties. It starts with your traditional damsel in distress, and then you start to wonder, like, is this guy really a hero? And a lot of it comes from that the main character is Zach Overkill, and the backstory is that he was a super villain, and they put him into witness protection, and they have like pills to suppress his powers, and he goes along, and it's kind of an homage to Harvey Pekar, who Carla's going to talk about today, that he's a file clerk, so he has this completely like useless job. In fact, his quote is like, "I am a file clerk in a world going paperless. That is what I am now." So it's like, someone who didn't live by the rules at all, and now he's in this world. But then there's this illegal substance that allows him to get his powers back. So I'm going to show an interior panel. So here's some of the interior, just great noir style. This is interior panel of Zach Overkill. And he gets this illegal substance that gives him his powers back, so he sort of starts to try to be a good guy in a mask, but he also kind of looks down on the world, and there's all these great side characters, and it's in the back of a lot of these, there's these essays that might be worth a comic alone to you, because they write about pulp characters and like obscure things in prose. They get different people to write it. And there's characters in this one, like the woman is Ava Destruction, and the doctor is Dr. Zeppelin. So there's all these great, like, pulpy things. And in this summer, 2010, there's going to be a sequel to this. So if you're a fan, or your readers, your patrons are fans of noir, crime, pulp, and violence, so it's not for everyone, but that's where it's at. And of course, this is an adult series. Completely leaving that realm, we're going to go on to a classic, which is The Pride and Prejudice. Nancy Butler is the writer on this. So what Nancy did was she took the classic Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, 400-page prose book, and condensed it to a 5-issue comic series. So a really difficult arc, but it's gotten really good press and reviews from Austen fans and from comic fans. You can see the cover of this one, and I'm going to pass around these two. Let's see. If you see these little tabs, I tried to, like, as you're passing it around, maybe look at some of the interior pages that I like the art about, but the front cover has these, like, fake fashion mag art, like Bingley's bringing bling to Britain. So it has a kind of funny tie-in on all these covers. And so these are part of the Marvel Illustrated series. I think librarians should know about Marvel Illustrated, because what they've done is they've taken Pride and Prejudice is probably the most successful one, but Treasure Island, Moby Dick, and they're in graphic form. So it's the Marvel Illustrated, and there's been ongoing interest in these Marvel Illustrated, and it's in part from librarians, and it's driven by the success of them. So she shortens the conversations, of course, she shortens the whole book, but you really get the essence of the characters. And I know somebody had a required reading at their high school, and then I handed them, they had read it, and then they wanted to see the film, and then I handed them the graphic novel, and they were really like, hey, I know that story, I love that story, and they were interested in it. So I'm going to pass this around. Right here. Okay. So I bought the comics, and then I bought the trade together for my library. All right, so here's an interior piece. Great colors. The Bennett sisters are all out hot in these. Like, the artist has made every one of them like a real hot doll. So, but I like the colors, I like the moods. I think the art and the writing are really complementary. Okay, so that's my classic. That's YA and adult level, I'd say. My sci-fi is called Echo. Some of you may know Terry Moore, who is the creator. He's the artist-writer from Strangers in Paradise, which is just a supremely perfectly written series. And so Echo is his new series. I have in here Echo Desert Run Volume 3 because it was published in 2009, but clearly I don't want you to start with Volume 3, but I just wanted to get it in there. So that was the one from 2009. So Echo has a really crazy backstory that this girl on the cover here is Julie Martin, and he writes women so well, and she has all these things going on. She's getting a divorce, like she's not making much money, she has a sister that's in a mental institution, her parents have died, so she has all these things, and she's just taking photographs in the desert, like she's taking these photographs. And so the sci-fi element comes in that while she's taking the photographs, these pieces from this woman was testing a beta suit made of this like metal alloy, which is radioactive. It explodes in the sky, and then like these little pieces meld to her, and they have this like nuclear power. So if someone threatens her, like, you know, against her will, even, like it will respond. So it's a really good sci-fi story, but it's also a really good character story. And Terry Moore's great about making the characters grow. She has the spirit of the woman who exploded, Annie, inside her, and she's on the run with Annie's boyfriend, so she has all these memories mixed up. And of course there's like a maniacal killer after them, and it's fun, exciting, amusing, and witty. The only thing is, I don't have an interior for this. The covers are gorgeous. The interior is black and white. I love it, but some people that are just used to really bold, brash superhero like color overload may have a harder time getting into it. But that also might allow you to bring it to someone who might not necessarily like it, might not necessarily be just a superhero reader, but that's a sci-fi reader. So I'm going to pass two of these Echoes around. Feel free to take them out of my nerdy bag and board and look at them, look at the interior black and white, so it's worth taking a look. Okay? And finally, my horror genre is House of Mystery. House of Mystery, one thing I really like is this is $9.99, this whole trade. It's 126 pages. They are collecting. The first trade is Room and Boredom. And I've spoken before about Jack of Fables. Many of you are Fables readers, and Bill Willingham is the writer on that. And in this one, Bill Willingham and Matthew Sturges, who works on Jack of Fables, have kind of switched places, and they've made this creepy reversion,